Welcome back, everybody. It is March 7th and I'm riding my new e-bike around looking for some sheds. So far, I'm finding no sheds, but there's a little too much snow out here, really. We'll turn you on if we see anything exciting. It's March 8th now, and I was just running down here to test out a new trail camera I got, the Talon Pro. And I was coming up the edge of the field, and there's a freaking deer laying here dead. Of course, it's a buck. Oh, it's got some type of injury right there, it looks like. Oh, you know what happened? Got hit in the road, I bet. It's got definitely got a broken leg, or snapped. You can feel it's not connected right, and it's got huge scuff marks on both legs. And then on the back, you can see where the hair was. I bet you it got hit crossing the road and then crawled over here and died. Unfortunate, because it has decent sized pedicles there. Sometimes these things just can't help themselves. Terrible luck. I'm sure that's what happened. It got hit in the road and crawled over here and died. Still really sucks to see. Well, we might as well look and see if there's any sheds right in here, in here close. That all this is melted off right here close to the field. Oh, I see another dead deer over here. This one's all ate up though by coyotes and whatnot. Top of this hemlock tree just snapped and came down within the last week. That wasn't there just a week ago. Well, let's go see why, or what this deer is over here. I don't remember seeing this deer over here not too long ago either. Oh, that's tiny. Another tiny button buck. Raccoon tracks right there. There's a chunk of its stomach. There's another chunk of stomach right there. Yeah, that thing died just recently. That looks like a coyote track right there. Too big to be a fox. Might be a better track over here somewhere of it. Huh. Well, I have my climber right here. I might as well grab that while I'm in here and throw it in the back of the Honda. There's really too much snow to be looking for sheds. We need a lot more of it to melt. Hate finding dead deer like that. It's really frustrating. You know, you spend all year trying to get them through and grow, you know, nice bucks, and it sucks to see them dead. Well, I was just driving right up the edge of the field here, and I see a shed. Oh, you know what? That is from last year, actually. How in the world did I miss that last year? Unless... yeah, that's last year's shed. I'll be darned. It must, there's no way that that thing is shed, because I come through here numerous times last year, never saw it, so I think it shed really late. At least that's what I'm going to tell myself. It's just really bizarre that I missed that last year. It's kind of messing with my head right now. Had to have dropped late last year, because otherwise I would have seen it, I would like to think. Nonetheless, it's a nice 2-year-old shed. Not even chewed up, not chewed on at all, even though it's a year old. Good deal. Well, I made it back to the hidey hole food plot back here, and this had all flooded this week. We got a real big snow melt, and the creeks went over the banks and flooded quite a bit, so everything's real wet in here. I was just walking around to see if I could come across any sheds that maybe were uncovered, but not seeing any. I wanted to mention too, there's some comments on the last video about me shooting the porcupine. The porcupines are really detrimental to the trees around here. One single porcupine can kill up to 15 hardwood trees in one winter, depending on how hard the winter is. They're really destructive, and they're a nuisance. You know, not even with the trees, but with my hunting shanties. If you have a wooden hunting shanty or a cabin or something in the woods, those things are just terrible. They wreak havoc on them. They pretty much chew holes through the legs and through the floor, and they're just a big nuisance. And in New York, they're not protected. They're no different than a starling or a woodchuck.
a rat, a mouse, you know. So I will, anytime I get the chance to take out a porcupine, I'm gonna do it, because I know I'm not only helping the future of the trees in the area, and I know that porcupine is not going to be freaking digging a hole through my hunting shanty in the middle of winter like they've done in the past. So there's some people that certainly were all fired up over me shooting a porcupine. Whatever, I will continue to shoot the porcupines when I come across them. Unfortunately, there's no antlers laying around here. We'll cut another load of wood and load her up. Well, it's the next day, everybody. It's March 9th. It's Sunday morning, and I'm up here at the upper farm. I was just gonna, I got a bunch of trail cameras up here I'm gonna collect up, but I figured I'd walk around a little bit down in the pines and see what I could find. And I'm walking through the hemlocks, and I can see a heck of a nice shed right up here in front of me. There's a couple 3-year-olds that I think made it, and one real nice buck that I think probably got shot, because I think the last picture I had of him, trying to remember now, but it was November like 16th. It was right around the first day of rifle was the last picture I ever had of him. But looking at this from here, it looks like one side sticking up out of the snow. I don't know how good you guys can see it, but it's like right through that gap right there. Anyways, it's a nice horn. Let's go see what we got over here. Right under the pines. Oh no. Oh crap. That thing's connected to the other side. Man, I'm having terrible luck with that this year. Oh, you know what buck this is? This is, so I actually had an encounter with this buck. He came up and fed in the corn about 15 yards from me a few times this fall early on. I had him. There was one night where I saw like 8 bucks, and this buck was sparring with another 2-year-old out in front of me out of the stump 2. I'll show you guys some footage of him, but this is a 3-year-old that had a huge body on him, and he actually sparred out in front of me for quite some time with another buck, and he disappeared about a week later, and I never saw him again. He is dead. There's this skeleton right here. I have no idea what actually happened to him, other than that he's obviously dead. Here's his pelvis, one of his legs. Food plot's right over there. Oh man, that sucks. That's the worst, and you think you found a nice shed and you walk up there and it's the other side's attached. I don't know if he got shot on a neighboring property over here and then ran over here and died, or what. That's what I assume probably happened. He probably got an arrow or something, and That's what I assume. He got shot, ran over here, and died. Not how you want to find it. Well, let's keep looking around. We're finally going to get some really warm weather this week, up in the 60s, and I think that'll knock down a lot of the snow and we can really get after it. I've got a bunch of matches I need to find over on the main farm. This is pretty unfortunate find, not what I was looking for, although I had a suspicion. When deer, I've come to find, you know, when deer disappear, they're freaking dead. They don't just, when you're getting pictures of them year after year and then they just disappear and never seen again, I'm afraid they're cranked. So let's keep walking around and see if we can come across the antler that's not attached to a skull. Well, I've been walking the south facing slope here and just came across another dead deer. This looks like a mature doe. Oh, nope. It is, of course, a shed buck. It looks like doesn't look like it was a huge buck nonetheless. Probably a 1.5 year old buck. Who knows what it died from, but it is dead. I am finding way more dead deer this spring than I have in the last 3 years or so, which is unfortunate, but the deer had it a lot harder this spring than ever before too. Real cold temperatures with deep snow for long periods of time. So it is what it is. There's really too much snow in the woods still, especially in the pines, but right here on the south facing slopes, right along the edge of the swamp, everything's melted off pretty good. Oh, there goes a beaver. I don't know if you can see it. Now it's underwater. But the deer like to bed right on these south facing slopes in the evenings in the winter to get that sun. So we'll keep our eyes peeled here where there's no snow. Well, according to Onyx, I'm 3 miles into my shed hunt today and just finally found my first one. I'm walking up this hill right here. There's a deer trail, and if you look, right behind that little stick is some pine sticking up. It's not a very big trail. I mean, it's just a little trail, I guess, but right there it is. Get it in the sun where you can see it. Nice 2-year-old buck. Don't have very good genetics for a G3, but it's got a nice brow tine. We'll keep looking and see if the other side's laying right here somewhere. Well, I was just kind of grid searching this field and came across a dead spike out here. All you can see is a skeleton. Ugly looking little thing. I don't know if it got drug out here, if it died out here or what, but this is where it ended up. I better at least take this head out of the field, otherwise that could go right through a tractor tire once this grass starts growing, and I've seen these go right into tractor tires, so that ain't any good. I'd much rather be finding these horns not attached to skulls. Well, I'm right in the old food plot below the house. The house is right there, and I actually didn't physically plant anything this year in here, but there's a lot of clover and stuff that came up in the food plot from last year, and there's quite a few deer that were feeding out in it. And I was just driving around, and right there's a 4-point shed. Well, 2 on that side, and I would assume 2 on the other side, but laying right here. There's actually some green coming up in here already. First kind of green grass that we've seen, but that's a shed, by gosh. We'll take a closer eye at the rest of this field and see if there's any more laying out here. We made it back to the house, and these are the 2 sheds that I found this evening right here. This one's got a little chunk of its skull attached to the base. But in total now we're at 28 sheds on the year so far. And we still have to match these bigger ones. You know, this one we need a match to, this one we need a match to, and a few of the other ones. So there's still some big antlers laying out there somewhere. We've got to find them when all the snow melts. Right now the snow is being kind of problematic. There's a little bit too much of it in the pines still, so we'll be back after them. This week is supposed to get pretty warm, and we'll certainly get back out there, and hopefully I can find a lot more sheds instead of antlers attached to skulls. That's been pretty frustrating this week so far, so we'll be back after them. Thanks for watching, everybody.